Today we're going to be adding the fan bracing on both sides of the X brace along with the sound hole bracing and the transverse brace, and this should complete the bracing for the tops of our guitars. I'm going to be using two templates today. One is the same template that we use to locate the bridge plate. It also has the sound hole brace locations for both sides of the sound hole, and then our main template has the locations for the transverse and the fan braces. The first brace I'm going to work on today is this transverse brace up here. It's actually glued flat. It's not glued in the dish like the other braces. And I've got a center line on my template to locate the hole for the truss rod adjustment. The first thing I'm going to do is just mark the length of this material and cut it to size. This is 7/8 by 1/2 inch currently. This is where I'm going to differ a little bit from Chris at Driftwood. Chris cuts these down a little bit, and since this is my first guitar and I'm not super comfortable with that, I'm going to leave this thick. Martin will taper the sides. I think most other factory builders do similar things. They taper these ends. I'm going to leave the ends big like Chris leaves them. And then I'm going to leave the middle large like Martin and all the other folks do on their X-Brace guitars. So I just want to make sure that I have enough there. If it was my 10th guitar or 20th guitar, I'd probably have a little different opinion, but I don't have that yet. So we're just going to put some go bars on here. Again, I've got a flat board in my go bar deck, so we're not putting any radius on this piece. I have the pieces cut for my fan braces, and they're half as thick as the other braces back here in the lower bout, the tone bars as they were. And I spent quite a bit of time on the angle for these pieces, making sure that it would marry up to the X-Brace because they just butt in from the sides. They wind up getting shaved down to, I'm going to say almost nothing, but fairly thin, because their purpose is really to keep cross grain separation from happening. And I always do like to spread that glue out. Make sure there's not going to be a whole ton of squeeze out there, but a little bit isn't bad. We can always clean it up. And then I'm just going to push it through the template into the X-Brace. Actually, I did want to put just a little bit of glue right there on the end. Almost forgot. I don't know that it would have been the end of the world, but always nice to have extra stiffness there. And then we'll just use my pencil to push it down into place. And I'm hoping that won't move too much when I put the go bars on there. So we'll do this second one here. I should hold those. And we'll just do the other side. So our last little bit is going to be to make these two fan braces, and I've got some brace material here. The angle on there is already cut because I did one set of braces for the other guitar top as kind of a test. So what I'm going to do is stick that angle into the template, flip it over, and then I'm going to mark against the template for the length of that brace. I actually want to leave that line because it was inside the template. Now just a quick little cleanup with a file, just to make sure our cut's nice and square and straight. Get off all the little fuzzies there. And let's see if that fits. Oh yeah, not very nice. Now we got one more to cut. The angle I just cut should match up on the other end of the template there. And I should be able to just mark this end and cut that piece. I put the pins into the template, and they're not going all the way through to the radius dish because they don't need to. I just need it to be registered to the top here. And I'm just going to mark the outside of where both of these braces go. And to be perfectly honest, I can't really use this template to glue. I think if I were going to revise this template, maybe I would cut off this spot near the transverse brace. That way the template could sit down and you could glue through it. But the mark that we have should work to put these pieces up against that transverse brace and then lock them into the X brace there. Both of these bits need to be sanded before we can put them in. And that's just giving them that very quick 30-foot radius. So now we're just going to put a little glue on the bottom here. And then again at both ends. And then remembering that this line is the outside edge of this brace. Now it's a game. Try and get it nice and flush and straight. That looks really good to me. Then our second sound hole brace. And again, we don't want a ton of squeeze out, but a little bit isn't bad. A couple go bars should do us the trick. I just take old hotel room keys and gift cards, things like that, and cut them into shapes that will get right down into the corners to clean up glue squeeze out when it's still wet, rather than trying to clean it out with a chisel after it's dry. We've got the braces set on both tops now, and I know the video is probably a little bit short this week, but there wasn't much hands-on time, but there was quite a bit of clock time in setting up one, gluing, then the next, and waiting for things to dry and doing that on two tops. So it took me a lot of clock time, but not a lot of shop time to get to this point. The next time we get together, we'll be voicing these, so shaving them down, trying to get the top a little bit more resonant. You can hear now they're starting to sound like a percussion instrument. And hopefully, as we start to shave some of those braces down, we'll get a little bit more resonance out of the entire top, maybe a little more duration out of that resonance as well. So that's it for this week. Till next time, take care, everybody.
If you would like more guitar-related content, click that subscribe button. If you want to follow the rest of this build, click the playlist to the right. And as always, visit skyscraperguitars.com for guitar tools and accessories.